So, all right, our last speaker just before lunch break. Sorry, a little bit late, but maybe Eugene can speed up a little bit.
I'll do my best.
Okay. So Eugene Bruins is giving us a talk about sea life in Germany, display and breeding projects in 2013. Eugene has been curator for 11 years in Artisu, and after 1 year of consulting time on the company, he's now our regional curator for Germany. So please welcome Eugene.
Thank you, Nicole. Good. As Nicole said, since 20 months I am the regional curator for the 9 sea life centers in Germany. I want to present some of the projects and breeding plans and so on that we have developed in the last 1.5 years, since it might be of some interest of you, maybe some use of you, or might inspire you. This is a map of the Merlin Entertainment Company. We haven't seen it yet, this conference. Merlin has a lot of brands like Dungeons, like Madame Tussauds, Legoland, and of course Sea Life. And as you can see, there are almost 50 sea life centers now in the world. These are the ones in Germany. The dark blue ones are the 8 sea life centers. Then totally here on the bottom there's like here in Billund, an Atlantis aquarium in Legoland, and the head office of Merlin in Germany is in Hamburg. Let me present you the centers in a small video that I once made. Well, I hope you got the impression that the atmosphere is good within sea life, which is very much true for sea life in general. Even I, being important from Holland, I feel very much at home in Germany. Let me make a tour along the sea lives. 2 of them got a big investment last year. One of them is Munich Sea Life Center. They built Mission High, Mission Shark. I'll have a small video on on that later. They redid their touch pool area, their seahorse area as well, and I developed some breeding plans for those sea life centers, and with all those shark species around there in Munich, we hope to breed, most of those sharks, but especially those heterodontic species. So Sea Life Munich focuses now on sharks. It has nowadays about 20 shark species, which is the most in Germany. That's their unique selling propositions, and they have very nice interactive screens. And this is a photo opportunity, yourself being in a mermaid's purse. This is a small tropical shark tank with short-tail nurse sharks. In the ocean tank, there are gray nurse sharks have been added. White-tip reef sharks, the bow mouse, not a shark with a ray, of course. And all are doing very well. This is a very nice interactive screen. 3 screens next to each other, and visitors can choose which shark they want to learn about. I will cut this video off because you might be hungry, but it is very nice. I'll wait a little bit longer. And it's well appreciated by the visitors. There's a little game with the sawfish. You can hunt on fish as much as possible. Let me continue. Good. So Mission Shark is giving people an amazing insight into the life of sharks and their amazing stories. It has 3 different zones on shark diversity, on reproduction, and on conservation. And 1 new, rather small tank was added for this one. And here is a list, you can't read it, but a list of the 20 shark species. They also now support the first shark tagging project in the Mediterranean, which is great to do. It's from a French institute, E and it just started. And the impact of the support of Sea Life Munich is pretty high still. And the curator here on the left, Jens, and I went there for a shark tagging trip. In the middle was the researcher explaining that it is the first shark tagging project in the Mediterranean at all. And we hope to continue this support for the next, I don't know how many years. The other sea life that had a big investment was Sea Life Königswinter, and they rebuilt my idea of having a Jurassic Oceans, Jurassic Waters project, displaying a lot of living fossil species. I have a video on that too. They also did a tour behind the scenes. It's a little upsell for a few euros. Visitors can go behind the scenes, which is very successful, I must say. They had first breeding results with Mustelus asterias. Unfortunately, 6 pups were born. None survived, but we learned a lot from it, and the group is big there. They have about 25 Mustelus, and it will not take long before we have successful breeding there. And there's some more breeding plans in Königswinter as well. Here's this video. This is from the beginning, from Jurassic Oceans. By now the water clarity in this tank has improved a lot, so don't worry. It's a 5 by 4 meter tank with a lot of paddlefish, sturgeons. It's all under the skeleton of a dinosaur, and some other species there are beheers, gars, there's alligator snapping turtles. And all those living dinosaurs can be recognized with a certain shell you will see later in their tanks, and that continues throughout the whole center. The theming here is extremely well done. And also this one is very well appreciated by the visitors. It's very clear what it's all about. can see the skeleton there. In this tank the alligator snappers are. And every now and then we have a fish less, I must say. I really love this project. Guess it will be done in other sea lives someday too. Wait a minute, page down. Good, so it shows living fossils, and I told you already there's one new tank there in, no, a couple of new tanks there in Königswinter. Here the species, I won't mention them all, you saw them in the video, all of them. Berlin had a new traveling exhibition, brand new starfish exhibition. It will stay there for a year, and then it will travel on. Sea Life is more often having these traveling exhibitions, and this one succeeds very well. Starfish do really well in this exhibition. It contains 5 tanks, 3 with tropical starfish, 1 with native ones, and 1 with what's called sunflower starfish. Since all our wolf eels get pretty old, Sea Life Berlin plans to breed wolf eels someday. They have to grow a little bit more, and I hope that they can reduce phosphates and do some bringing some light cycle into the ocean tank, and maybe that makes the common eagle rays and the smoothhounds to breed in their ocean tank. Spire, as well as some other sea life centers, had birth of blacktip reef sharks. Unfortunately, several of them were not successful, and we are working on that. Chris is now the stud bookkeeper, and yeah, I hope we succeed someday. Nurse sharks showed mating activity there, and very interesting is 3 sea lives, Oberhausen, Hanover, and especially Spire. They receive from a local NGO small European terrapins, and they raise them for a couple of years till medium-sized, and then they are reintroduced into ponds near Spire. It's a very, very successful reintroduction project. And then I found with us in Holland the longest animal in the world, actually. The first one I gave to Scheveningen, and it still survives there. After a year, I must say. And also Spire now has one. It's a bootlace worm, and they can grow up to 30 to even 55 meters long. And they survive pretty well. They eat, and they really do well. It's pretty funny to show the visitors the longest animal in the world. Oberhausen was just a sea life, and well, just a sea life. It will now become an adventure park as well. Here you can see the penguins, and like here in Billund, there's a ride going through the exhibit. Here, very slowly through this tunnel that you see over here. The boats with guests go through there, and they can nicely see the penguins swimming over there. But many more animals will be added, and several rides too. They joined the Terrapin project, and there's a big bowmouth swimming around. Sea lives have quite a lot of bowmouth, and we are starting to pair them up, and I sincerely hope that in the near future we are able to breed this very interesting species. Constance, they focus on jelly breeding, so if any needs jellies, then they simply have to ask Constance, and they can receive some moon jellies. I have offered the lumpsucker babies bred by Constance to you all in the EUAC. I will keep on doing that if we have breeding successes. Separate from the fish flesh, but I think that's pretty nice to mail each other what we have bred. It's working pretty well with the aquatic info. All the Americans, they say, I've bred this, I've surplus that. We Europeans don't do that. I do that, and please start doing that as well, my opinion. They have bred eel pouts. They had last year a Gentoo penguin, and they have a very nice research project on copper in fish holding nets to prevent the algae. There's copper in those nets, and now they test if we do not have the copper in the nets. What about the algae growth now? Then, if that succeeds, that will have a huge impact on agricultural and the nets and the copper that is released into the ocean. Timmendorf has a huge tank with a very nice group of 6-7 Japanese spider crabs. They regularly have eggs, and I really want to breed that species, although chances on success is low, but we still try to manage. We are in contact with a Japanese guy, Okamoto, the expert on this. I gave Timmendorf a few edible crabs with eggs, so they could play a bit with larvae of these crabs. There was a student there, and hopefully someday we will breed Japanese spider crabs. Conservation, sea trout, each year they receive a bunch of eggs, a couple of thousands of the sea trout. They raise them, and then they are reintroduced in a local stream together with the school. Also a very nice conservation project. Hanover might be active in VTEC Kaunos race ESB, not sure yet how that will develop. They are very successful with corals, and maybe they can get the Gorgonia muricella someday, and in their Hippocampus bargibanti, that is an aim, a goal someday there. They received from Max some spotted eagle rays, just to raise them till a reasonable size, and then they go on to another aquarium. Both rays survived so far and do very well, and till Max says, okay, now they need to go to another aquarium, and I guess Hanover will get then a few small ones again. Günzburg, I am very impressed what Boulogne does with egg collection in their big tank, and actually I like all the sea lives to collect eggs out of their water as well, try to raise it, and Günzburg is planning to do this. So and their sergeants majors, they regularly deposit eggs, and they will try to raise them as well. Nautilus is depositing eggs too, so maybe that will succeed someday. They have a very nice conservation project on Bombina variegata, yellow-bellied fire toad. Very easy. It shows how simple conservation can be.
We are standing here by a digging machine. What happened here in Günzburg?
We used our wastelands and the digging machines, so the unbuilt areas behind the park, to build some biotopes for the yellow-bellied fire toad, Bombina variegata. So we just scratched out some pieces of mud, basically, to build some flat ponds filled by rainwater, and they are already settled partly.
Okay, let's have a look how successful it is. I'm very curious.
Let's see.
This is it, 6 of these ponds.
That's nice. Yeah, here in this pond we have 6, and here is a subadult one, a baby one. He was born last year, I think.
Looks like.
When have they been dug?
Just before Easter, so that's a little 6 weeks ago now.
6 weeks, and now already 10 toads. Wow, that's great. Cheap and successful. Wow.
Yeah, looks like. So we hope to have a lot of offspring this year on those ponds.
Well done.
Thank you.
I can tell you by now that those ponds were this year completely filled with tadpoles, and a lot of baby fire toads crawled onto the land. So very, very interesting. Sea Life does a lot with LED lamps too. We test a lot of lights, and with great success. Also the big ones. Here you see a row of pictures in Hanover with Econlux, Orvex, Ecoxotic, and the two aquamatics that are here on the stand. Very interesting to do, and I think we do a great job concerning LED lights. And all the other sea lives, they profit from that information too. If you are a big group like the 9 sea lives in Germany, then you can also do a collection trip. We did it 4 weeks ago to Denmark, here the north of Denmark. I'm very grateful to Martin Ries and his team for the support they gave us. And we mainly caught plumose, anemone, starfish, and some other animals. And well, our tanks look pretty full again after this. And another advantage is, well, of course, most of these aquariums, they do dive. If you do dive, you should actually have an oxygen bottle. If you have an oxygen bottle for emergencies, you should have a training. Instead of sending all the aquarists to an expensive training, we decided to train me as an instructor, and at the moment I am training all the aquarists as an oxygen provider. Sea Life launched the Breed, Rescue, Protect theme, and this is some pictures of the interpretation. There's not too much text, so visitors actually read it and appreciate it. I hurry up, Nicole is standing up. So just to show you, there's quite a lot of breeding projects going on, not only this, but, and this is all Breed, Rescue, Protect projects of those 9 sea life centers, just to show you there's quite a lot going on. Are we satisfied? No, of course not. We hope to have a German national conservation project soon. Of course, we want to improve and realize all those breeding programs and ideas that we have. And being part of displays development, of course, I hope to develop a lot more stunning displays. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. So lunch break is about to start, so any questions, or everybody's hungry? Thank you very much for an interesting session, and we will be back at 2 o'clock here. Thank you.